Because you know what? You make excuses, you actually make yourself stupider. Mentioned it probably once or twice before on the show. You make yourself stupider when you blame other people, when you complain, when you make excuses, when you're lazy, when you half-ass stuff, when you actually make yourself stupid. You actually literally physically shrink your brain.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me.
What's up, freaks? Welcome to another episode of the Steve Eckert Show podcast. Today we are talking about like what better. I don't know how it took. I don't know what episode we're on by now, 80, 90, 100, whatever it is of the podcast. And it's about no excuses. But no excuses really means accountability, specifically accountability. Accountability ties into a lot of the other shows we've had, but this one is going to be just dedicated to no excuses, accountability, stop being a little basically, on the Steve Eckert Show, which is the show on how to flip the switch and have a no excuses, badass mindset, guiding you to adapt, overcome, and destroy the obstacles that are preventing your success in your mindset, your family, your fitness, and your business, so you can stop being a little your shit together and start living life on your own freaking terms while you create your personal, ideal freak freedom lifestyle. So we're going to dive into this in a second, but first I want to give you a free gift and remind you to go check the comments down below, a link for a free Freak Mode 40, the FM40. That's a 40-day daily discipline and habit challenge, a full $200 course, absolutely free just for being a listener of the Steve Eckert Show podcast. Check that down below in the show description and also the pinned comment, a link. Just click on it. Boom, you'll get immediate free access to the Freak Mode 40 daily discipline habit challenge, unlike any other habit transformation challenge out there. Check it out. It will completely transform and change the way you attack and operate in life and business and family and your fitness. Freak Mode 40. All right, let's jump into this no excuses accountability stuff. Let's start. I want to start with a quick story or a example or whatever it's called about the Roman architects. Do you know that the Roman architects, they would adjust the mic here. Roman architects, after they would build these massive stone, whatever structures, like massive. When they were done, whoever was the lead engineer or whatever architect, whatever you want to call it, would supposedly stand under his work. So he'd stand under this massive, colossal thing of stones that are all balancing stones and on top of each other. He'd stand under it and have men shake it and bash into it and bump it. And he's standing underneath it in front of the emperor, basically saying he stands by his work. Like, that is the ultimate accountability. Willing to showing how much confidence you have in the work you've done, and you're holding yourself accountable for it, that if your work is no good, you're going to die. And you know, the funny part is that lead architect or engineer probably never touched one of the single stones. It was all done through delegation, which we just did a complete episode recently on delegation. So check that one out. So he probably never touched one of those stones. So that is the ultimate accountability and ultimate really leadership, because he didn't actually do the work. He just supervised the work, led the work, maybe was the visionary of the work, maybe planned and prepared and set deadlines for the work, maybe helped out with some of the logistics or the engineering or whatever, but didn't actually touch a single stone, but was willing to risk his life, that he was so sure, holding himself accountable for the work that he was responsible for. And I want to right off the bat say the difference between responsibility and accountability. Responsibility is what's expected of you, and accountability is answering for what's expected of you. So accountability is answering for what your responsibilities are. Accountability and responsibility are not the same thing. And instead, what most people do instead of accountability, the opposite is they make excuses. That's why I have the tattooed on my freaking arm in red. 42 years old, the first tattoos I have are the two on my hands and the one on my forearm, all pretty much done at the same time. And because the opposite of accountability is making freaking excuses. And if there's a button to push to put me into the red, to make me just get pissed off and almost maybe lose control of my emotions and get pissed off, is when someone makes excuses. Your excuses. I can't stand them making excuses. And shortly behind that is a procrastinator or a meanderer. Can't stand it when that happens. So don't be that one. That is the opposite of accountability. Everyone talks about accountability, how important it is, how it's the way they live their life, accountability and all this other stuff and extreme ownership. Start living it. Stop talking about it. Stop preaching it. Stop posting on social media about it and all the cool little graphics and all this other stuff and start living it. In the project, we have in part of the creed is I'm a man of my word. I make a promise and I keep it. That's literally how the creed, which is basically the core values of this men's brotherhood program is. I'm a man of my word. I make a promise and I keep it. Another part is I'm responsible for everything in my life. And that gives me the power and control to change my circumstances. I'm responsible for everything in my life. And that gives me the power and control to change my circumstances. Now, one of my, if you could say, taglines, mantras, or core values that I have in every single freaking business I've ever had, every single program, every single product, service, at some point has had no excuses in it, because that's how important accountability and not making excuses is in every business, in every endeavor, in every program and product and service you could possibly have. Will not survive, will not explode, will not thrive, will not make a ton of money, will not create a big impact if there are people around making freaking excuses. And it starts from the freaking top. So I want to ask you this right now. What's one area right now you are still on or not doing what you need to be doing, where you're still holding yourself back, making excuses, half-assing, dragging ass and through life? Right here, this moment, right here on this call, whatever you're doing, pull over the car and call yourself out on that. Call each other out if you're with someone else listening to it. Call them out right now because they need to hear it. They need to be held accountable. First, you need to hold yourself accountable. Then you need to earn the right to hold other people accountable. But call yourself out on this. Stop making excuses. Call people out on their and excuses. It's time to come clean. Like, what do you need to snitch on yourself to yourself so you can start getting your together and start living life on your own terms? Like I said, what was the purpose of this show? Sometimes you need to have that venting session. Like, what do you need to get off your chest? What are you still holding in, suffering in silence about? Like, get that shit out so you can stop making excuses, so you can get over it, put on the big boy pants, and start actually leading your team, leading your family, your spouse, your freaking kids. And what are you going to do about it this week? What are you going to do about it today? What are you going to do about it right now, this minute, while you're watching? What are you going to do about these areas where you're half-assing and making excuses? What are you going to do about it right now to start holding yourself accountable? Stop wasting time. Stop holding back. Like, what the What are you waiting for? You wait until your back is completely against the wall before you stop making these freaking excuses? Waiting until your back is pinned against the wall to stop half-assing your way, to stop living as the man you were created and freaking intended to become? You're gonna wait till you're tired to stop making excuses and start actually being accountable? Like, when will you unleash the beast? When will you be bold and take risks and put yourself out there and get in the game and stay in the freaking game? Because you know what? You make excuses, you actually make yourself stupider. I mentioned it probably once or twice before on the show. You make yourself stupider when you blame other people, when you complain, when you make excuses, when you're lazy, when you half-ass stuff, when you actually make yourself stupider. You actually literally, physically shrink your brain when you make excuses, when you fail to hold yourself accountable. Because your brain loves efficiency and it doesn't like to work harder than it has to. Your brain overall wants to be efficient and lazy. So when you repeat some behavior or excuse or lie to yourself, like complaining, like blaming other people, those little neurons in your freaking brain, they branch out to each other and they kind of ease the flow of information. They slow you down. They make you slower and stupider. It makes it so much easier to repeat that behavior in the future. So it creates this habit, an automatic, like actually restructuring your brain and DNA to be lazy, because your brain is saying, well, it's easy and this is what we like, and we're going to now replicate this every time we come across a situation. And you can't blame your freaking brain, because you're the one programming it with your stupid laziness and excuses and lack of accountability. Like, you are making yourself dumber with your excuses, with your lack of accountability, with your laziness. Repeated complaining rewires your brain to make future complaining more likely. And over time, you find it's just easier to be negative than positive. And complaining becomes easier than problem solving. Blaming other people becomes easier than taking accountability. Making excuses becomes easier than taking accountability. And this all lack of accountability and excuses and laziness becomes your default behavior. And that's how people just start seeing you as a moaning, whining, complaining little bag of. You don't like that, producer? We're going to offend some folks. Going to get canceled. And here's the kicker. Complaining actually damages your brain. It makes it slower. It shrinks it. It makes it stupider. By making excuses and complaining, you literally giving yourself brain damage. They did a study in Stanford University, although I can't respect everything that comes out of every university, because they come with some, but some studies are worth looking at the research of. It's shown that complaining actually shrinks part of your brain. We don't need to get nerdy part, the hippocampus, whatever, the area of your brain that's critical to problem solving and critical thinking, intelligent thought, decision making. It shrinks it and damages it. You're giving yourself brain damage. I mean, you consider that's the area of the brain that's destroyed and create, like where Alzheimer's is created. You're probably creating health problems, health risks mentally that are going to turn to physical health problems from being a lazy sack of shit, from being a complaining, blaming, passive aggressive, beta male boot camp. You're shrinking your brain. And then on top of that, all that is creating stress because you're really not accomplishing anything. So now you're increasing, and you have extra cortisol released from all this complaining, and your immune system is now weak. Now you're feeling under the weather and you're always sick, which makes you not work out. You get fat, and then you're hungry. You want to eat pain away, and you start eating. You have high cholesterol and diabetes and heart disease and fat as and your brain is shrinking and you're stupid, all because you made excuses and didn't hold yourself accountable. Complaining, blaming, making excuses shrinks your freaking brain, makes you dumber. It attacks your critical thinking, your problem solving, your decision making. Blaming other people, these are all easier solutions than working to figure out a real effective solution. And your brain is wired to be efficient. And these lazy behaviors are easy and efficient, so your brain reinforces them, making you lazier and stupider. So stop the complaining, even to yourself, even when you're alone, even in your own thoughts and head. Because guess what? Shit could always be a lot worse. Years ago, your goal, probably your out of the world, impossible goal and dream, was probably to be right where you are right now. And yet you complain about it and make excuses. You don't have any gratitude. You don't have any accountability. So stop complaining about where you are and the you're doing in life. Your everyday right now is probably you never could have imagined it in the past. Now you should be standing overwatch like a sniper, like a guard in the tower, protecting the life and the lifestyles that you created with this life. That's accountability. You are on overwatch. You are in charge. You are maintaining this new life that you created for your people, for your family, for your kids. And listen, if that's not where you are, if you're on the wrong road, stop right now and get on the right road, or try another road and see if it's the right road. And if not, you'll get on another road. a different trajectory. But you usually know what the right road is, but you're too busy making excuses because maybe that's the hard one. Maybe it's a difficult one. It's a scary one. It's the one that's going to make you hold yourself accountable. Keep a close watch on yourself and overwatch yourself so that you can overwatch your people, your family. If you can't overwatch yourself, how overwatch them? Accountability is where the leader answers for their actions and those on your team, in your unit, in your family, and accepts the consequences, good or bad, based on everyone's decision that's on your team. That's accountability of a leader, of a father, of a man. You are responsible for everything. You could delegate task or authority or even leadership. You can even delegate responsibility, but you cannot delegate accountability. It can't be done. Leaders are always responsible. Fathers are always responsible and held accountable for the success or failure of your family, of your team, of your unit, whether you're talking about family as a father, team as an entrepreneur, leader in the military, in your unit. Leaders are always responsible and held accountable for the success or failure of their unit. The father is held responsible and accountable for the success of their family, of their spouse, of their kids. It's on you. Don't go looking to anyone else. Go putting pressure on your wife or whatever else that you're not making enough money. Oh, we need to pay the bills and we're struggling because you're not going to shut up. Your job. That is your job. How about you hold yourself accountable? How about you not hold yourself accountable for that? You are the leader. You are the father. You are the man. Leaders must first hold themselves accountable before they can hold other people accountable. Getting our own work done well, with excellence, on time, with hard work, before you can go and expect that from other people. And this is, again, personal level, professional level, organizational level, military level. You need to hold yourself accountable as a man so you earn the right to hold other people accountable. That's just the way it is. That is what being a husband, being a leader, being a father, being a man is all about. That's how a man operates. That's how a man leads as a father, is holding himself accountable for not just his, but everyone in the family. That's on you. Your job. That's what you're brought here for. That's what you're created on this planet for, so to subdue the earth, to bring order to the chaos, to tend to the garden, to multiply, to create future leaders. First, you got to lead yourself. Hold yourself accountable so you can hold other people accountable. I want to hear in the comments down below, where do you need to hold yourself accountable? Where do others need to hold you accountable? Where have you been lacking in holding yourself accountable? Put that in the comments down below. And don't forget the link for the Freak Mode 40, the daily discipline, 40-day daily discipline habit challenge. Link down below for a full free $200 course. Click the link. Check it out. It will help you hold yourself accountable in all areas of life, personally, professionally, and in your family. So put the comments down below where you need to hold yourself accountable for. Click the link for the free course. And I will see you on the next episode of the Steve Eckert Show podcast. In case no one told you yet today, you are awesome. No excuses.